I want to make this really simple. Okay, there's so much out there and it gets really complicated, but I realized, again, I'm a man, I have a wife, again, 15 years, praise Jehovah that he's, sustained our marriage and growing our marriage. I have 6 children. I've lived on different continents. I'm an entrepreneur, businessman, ministry. I mean, I put myself out there and life is complicated. So I like to make life simple where I can. And I need to think, if I'm going to learn something, it needs to have practical application in my life. It needs to make me a better person. It needs to make me a better father. I need to wake up tomorrow morning and have it be real. So I'm looking at, what is it that Yeshua did? And it seems that Yeshua did, and it's the only thing he told his disciples to do, and it's the only thing we have evidence that they really did, was to preach the gospel of the kingdom and to make disciples. That's it. I mean, look at the verses. The gospel of the kingdom isn't, Yeshua died and born again and so you can have life. The gospel of the kingdom was so complicated and so full that Paul spent 3 months going into one synagogue for 3 months just teaching on the gospel. It's deep, and Yeshua touches on it. The kingdom of the heaven is like this, it's like this, it's like that, it's like this. And it's a big topic. But it's not just believe on Jesus and don't go to hell, right? That's not it. But we tend to say the gospel is salvation. But the gospel of salvation shows up this many times in the Bible, 0. The good news of the kingdom, the gospel, of heaven, good news of heaven and of God. That's what's in the Bible. That's what we're supposed to do. So we're supposed to preach the gospel of the kingdom to all the earth as a witness to the nations, so the end will come. And we're supposed to make disciples. And that's it. That's it. So I started wrapping my mind around that and saying, okay, that's all that I was told to do. What does that look like? And so I got in a car with an SUV and a box trailer, my family, and I drove around the country this past summer for 4 months and up into Canada, preaching the gospel of the kingdom and waking people up to that. But I wasn't making disciples because we would blow in and out of town. So I get back here and decide I need to make disciples, and I start teaching people. And I've had people in the past, even people contact me, for a guy in Pakistan wanting me to disciple. There are people around the planet, folks, that if you're willing to disciple them, they're out there. I went back to this methodology that I had, teaching people how to walk in their calling and how to live a balanced life. And I started putting it into a coaching program and offered it. And I called it Kingdom First. And this was a couple months ago. But the Father brought some people into it, but there was something missing. My vision was too small, and I didn't know it. I was operating out of fear. And I really finally went back to the Father because he wouldn't let me have this thing that I thought I wanted, my own heart, righteously, and said, what is it, Chaim, that's driving you? What is it you want to see? And I said, well, I don't want to just teach people about the kingdom and about how to walk in their calling and about how to live this holy, sanctified life. I want to reach the planet. That's what I want to do. I'm a mass media guy. I'm a television guy. I want to reach the planet. And also, I want to do it quickly because the creation is groaning for the sons of God to be revealed. And the way that the sons of God are revealed is they have to hear this gospel of the kingdom. They have to hear this and come out, and engage. And we're just told, preach the gospel of the kingdom on the whole earth, and these people will get the message. The Spirit will quicken it, and the sons of God will be revealed. How do I do that quickly? Okay, I'm going to turn back to the Hebrew roots movement because they'll get this. They're low-lying fruit. They understand obedience. They understand Torah. They'll get kingdom and government and law and being obedient and giving it all up and dying to self. They'll get it. But I can't drive 7,500 miles around the country with my family in tow. I got to do this on the internet. Well, but how do I reach people? How do I get there? And what was birthed out of that? Pretty recently, but we're launching it in a week. And I'm going to tell people now about the website, and we're going to invite you to sign up for the webinar that we're doing in a week, which will be our official launch. And then we're going to tell you about the programs we're doing. Is called Hebraic Home Fellowships. Hebraic, not Hebrew, Hebraic Home Fellowships, plural, .org. Okay, .org. And what we do, again, please, not right now, or click here and go to it. Sign up for the webinar, because we're gonna tell you the vision for this week, the night of the 30th. I'm waiting. We're gonna release it right in the new year. New work in the new year. What we want this to be is an organization that will fill in the gaps of the Hebrew Roots movement, the places that we're falling short, and the goals of it. And what I'm doing right now is I'm interviewing people. I'm talking to a lot of people right now who run home fellowships of some sort. And in fact, when you go on the website now, there is a survey, and there's 4 different buttons to push. After you sign up for the webinar next week, there are 4 different buttons to push, whether you're currently lead or facilitate a home fellowship, whether you want to, whether you're a member of a home fellowship, or whether you're looking for fellowship. And we would really appreciate you sharing this website around, so we have a ton of people on the webinar next week, and that you would take 5 or 10 minutes and fill out this survey, because I am getting intel right now. Okay, I'm interviewing people and say, what is it that would make the home fellowships so powerful, so amazing, they're easy for people to facilitate, that you have answers to your questions, that you're able, whether you want to do them, most people do them on Shabbat, some people do them other times, is to find out what the movement needs and give it. And do it from wherever I am. I'm not going to need to. I mean, occasionally we'll travel, and we like to travel, but the Hebrew Roots movement is spread out, little people all over. I mean, I know John, I'm not sure where you live, John, but John Pounders, I know he lives like out in the boondocks. That's everybody. And trying to go around and find all these dots on the map and disciple people on a regular basis, or even show up to teach them for a day, is impossible. We have to use the technology. But I believe it has to include the true gospel of the kingdom, of walking in your calling and living a holy lifestyle and living a balanced life, not out of whack, not doing ministry, but your marriage is horrible and your health is bad and you're in poverty. Talking about the full abundant life thing that the Father wants for us. But we need to spend time discipling. And what I'm going to announce next week on the 30th is an amazing program in order to do just that. And I believe that we'll be able to disciple very quickly all around the world, and not just me, teaching other people to do so. And that's why I'm really, really excited about this, because you brought it up at the beginning. You said, Chaim, where's the discipleship? And I have to tell you, Yeshua told us to do 2 things again: teach the gospel of the kingdom, and the church and the Hebrew Roots movement isn't teaching the gospel of the kingdom. And then he said, make disciples. And we're not making disciples. So the 2 things that we were told to do, we're not doing, which begs the question, what have we been doing for 2,000 years? What in the world have we been doing for 2,000 years if we're not doing the 2 core things that we were told to do? But it's time to move forward. We can't go back. It's time to move with the cloud into the next thing. We were all blind to this, folks, but now that you're not blind anymore, you got to move with it. But I would even say that discipleship, and this is why, and I've had this confirmed by other people, the Hebrew Roots movement, with all of its flaws, with all of its, issues, was a sifting process in order to identify who's willing to be obedient, so that we can be the leaders of bringing the entire body of Messiah to kingdom.
I've gotten a few private messages, and I want to make sure I get this out. Can they find the webinar through your website at Repairing the Breach Global? Can they find it there?
No, actually, just like any launch, and you've been with them, we were working up until 5 minutes before we came on this broadcast to put things together. It will be there tomorrow. But what we want people to do now is get used to this new website, because you're going to love being part, no matter who you are, because it's going to be an organization that's going to be responsive to you. It's not about being like some kind of covering. It's about being a service organization to the Hebrew Roots movement, and specifically the Home Fellowship movement. HebraicHomeFellowship.org. go there.